Think about it. A kid downloads this app, right? Ooh, Pokemon. Let's go to Pokemon. There are there. There are right there on the app, right?
He says it's a perfect setup for offenders to find their victims.
I'm sad. That's all I'm gonna write.
He set the parameters for who he was looking to speak with, and within minutes, without reaching out to anyone, we had 2 apparent teenage girls reaching out to us.
Why are you sad? And right there is where you got the open door.
If you had a smartphone in the early 2010s, there's a big chance you've heard of Kik. At the time, it was the biggest messaging app on the market. If you wanted to stay in the loop with whatever cool stuff your friends were doing, Kik was your go-to option.
If you thought a girl was cute, your first word should have been, "Hey, what's your Kik?" or "Add me on Kik." Keep in mind, this was before Snapchat streaks, before Instagram DMs. Vine was peak comedy at this time.
You could connect with strangers from all around the world within this small app, and at the time, that was huge. On the surface, Kik seemed like the perfect messenger app, but the problem was that Kik was almost entirely anonymous, meaning anything can be shared on the app, from people's darkest secrets to content no one should ever have to see. And you could have done this without fear of consequences. The same app that kept you in contact with your friends was hosting illegal markets, and dangerous of all, creds. The worst part about it, 70% of Kik users are between 13 and 24 years old. But how deep does this rabbit hole go? It's time to dive into how this innocent app turned into chaos. Reddit, I need your help. In 2012, Kik was started by a college student named Ted Livingston. Only 1 month after launch, 30 million users joined, but the app fell drastically. Users abandoned the app, and Kik's team went from hundreds of employees to only 19. Today, you barely hear of anyone using Kik. Why? Because Kik is not safe. Ever since Kik fell out of popularity, blackmailers flooded the platform looking for unsuspecting victims to strike. In 2018, a Reddit user by the name of Tormod300 found a stranger who he thought he could trust on Kik. But little did he know, he ran into his worst nightmare. Tormod explained, "This all started around 3 weeks ago when a very realistic girl messaged me on another website. She provided me her phone number and asked that I messaged her on it. We talked on there for a while. I really got to know her, and we eventually switched to Kik. She asked for a picture of his school ID, and he gave it to her. This ID had his name, picture, and student ID number. This next decision turned out to be this Redditor's biggest mistake. Getting more comfortable with this girl, Tormod sent inappropriate images of himself to her, and that's when the trouble began. The girl began demanding money from him, and if he didn't comply, she would send his photos to his school. Freaking out, Tormod took to Reddit for advice. I was still terrified, and was for several days, always afraid that the scammer would send the pictures just to spite me. However, as those days passed, nothing happened. I began to relax. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months turned into a year, and nothing has happened to me since. This Redditor was one of the lucky ones, but not everyone can be as lucky, especially because a platform like Kik has very little moderation. And with 70% of Kik's user base being young, it's a dangerous combination, and we did an experiment to prove it. The experiment. So, we made a Kik account. We named this account Jason, and he was 13. We searched for a group and found a public chat where you can talk to up to 100 people. Right away, you see inappropriate content everywhere in this group. And once you join, it only gets worse. As soon as we hit the join button, our inbox was flooded with inappropriate content and images. Even for some adults, these images are shocking. But what if I told you that this is the experience of almost every Kik user when opening the app, regardless of their age?
Think about it. A kid downloads this app, right? Ooh, Pokemon. Let's go to Pokemon. There are there. There are right there on the app, right?
Since Kik's moderation team is so small, it seems like there's almost no one filtering suspicious accounts. And in 2021, they added live streaming to the app. This brought even more suggestive content to an app filled with young people.
Back in 2013, it was just a texting app. That was it. The live section is extremely and revolves around girls getting money from simps, or guys too.
Instead of Kik tightening their moderation, they encouraged parents to add restrictions to their children's phones themselves. Every now and then, Kik will ban an account, but most of the time, people are allowed to do and say whatever they want. And in this next topic, a user took advantage of someone from Kik in real life. I want to take you to the woods. Before we continue, I want to talk to you guys about today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. so I'm a hands-on learner. I remember in high school math class listening to my teachers, and all I heard were words and numbers. It was honestly pretty much gibberish to me. For 4 years of my life, I learned almost nothing. And the problem was, I just wasn't learning the right way. I needed to learn by doing. Brilliant.org is the best way to learn math, science, and computer science interactively. Brilliant has thousands of lessons, and new ones being added every single month. So I know that a lot of you guys love to learn for the sake of learning. On Brilliant, you can explore thousands of topics, from mathematics to physics to even machine learning. You can hop on a lesson and sharpen your mind in just 15 minutes. Or if you want to spend more time learning about more complicated topics like AI, you can do that too. I spent some time on the writing algebra course because math was my worst subject, but because Brilliant made it interactive, I was actually able to learn much faster. To get started for free, visit brilliant.org/visualventure or click the link in the description. The first 200 of you guys will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Click the link to get started today, and thank you a ton to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. This is MB. To many, he was just a regular user on Kick, but to people who actually knew him, he was their worst nightmare. This story takes place in 2013 when Kick was still early in its life. Many people were still unaware of the dangers of this app. At some point during the year, a conversation started between MB and a young girl on Kick. MB would tell the girl he was 16 and they talked for a few weeks. Eventually, MB convinced the girl to meet him in real life. Little did she know that meeting this boy was a big mistake. MB was actually 20, but the girl had no way of knowing this. At some point during their meeting, MB would lead this girl into the woods and they would do things. And MB recorded everything on his phone. Luckily, the girl reported MB to the police and he was arrested. While in custody, law enforcement checked his phone. It turns out this wasn't the first time MB did this. In fact, the police found at least 3 other girls who he recorded on his phone, and they were all young. In a letter to the judge, MB apologized to the victim's family. Unfortunately, at the time, I completely lacked insight into the severity of my actions. I pursued females who were a couple years younger because they were easier for me to talk to and they were more easier impressed by me being older. He's now serving up to 30 years. Taylor's story. The problem is that young people sometimes don't know right from wrong, just like Taylor. Young people are a huge target for creeps on any platform. When we were young, all we wanted to do was feel loved by people. The creeps on Kick love taking advantage of this. In a 2018 investigation by BBC, there were over 1,000 cases of this nature on Kick, and that's only the ones being investigated. BBC outlined a story of a person who they call Taylor.
Start off with a lot of just like selfies, but then it would escalate to like photos. It would like photos. You can't explain it. It's you rely on them. You rely on the compliments for all of your self-worth.
Like many others, she was taken advantage of on Kick. When asked how many men have approached her, her response was shocking.
Over 100, possibly up to 200, yeah.
Another girl spoke out about her experience too. She explained that getting on Kick was her first mistake. As a kid, I knew that the attention I was getting from people was wrong, but I was underconfident, in need of validation and attention. Grooming is rampant on Kick, and the fact that people can stand behind the shield of anonymity allows them to believe that they can get away with anything. It's the perfect app for illegal activity. The black market. Because chats aren't saved on Kick servers, dealers of illegal items use Kick to advertise their products. According to a study compiled by the Coalition Against Abuse, almost half of dealers on Instagram use Kick as a method of contact for facilitating sales. And thousands of buyers flock to Kick to get their fixes. And sometimes, buyers wouldn't just use money to buy them. A man named JM used Kick to collect dozens of videos of young people, but it wasn't just for himself. Once he acquired these photos, he traded them with people to get his substances. He was finally arrested, but so many other people just like him are still on the platform. The Kick message that sparked fear. The last thing you would expect is for a young kid to be capable of ending the lives of those around him. But it turns out that this person who was bullied planned on doing just that. In 2018, a 15-year-old from New York was sending messages that sparked fear to his classmates online. The boy was apparently being bullied by his peers and was fed up with it. In a Kik message group that comprised people from his school, the boy wrote that he was sick of being bullied and that he was gonna take care of things. Kik decided to take action. When Kik was alerted about the situation, Kik contacted the proper authorities. When law enforcement caught up with the kid, they found that he bought a proof vest. They also found out that he attempted to buy more military equipment online. Michael Perez, a father of a 5-year-old boy who lives 2 blocks away from the school, also said that he was afraid to send his child off to school every day. We live in an age where kids' lives revolve around the internet. It's just insane to see how much it affects the way kids act. The father also talked about his experience going to school before the internet. When I was in school, this didn't occur much. If you were bad, your parents disciplined you. If you were bullied, your parents would go to the school and they'd deal with it. Nowadays, it's gone horribly wrong. Even though no one was hurt, this incident really shook the community. Kik prevented this one incident, but knowing how small Kik's team is, many cases like this get ignored until it's too late. r/KikPals. There's a Reddit community called r/KikPals, and people use this subreddit to find friends on Kik. It seemed like a great idea at first, because you wouldn't have to rely on Kik's sketchy groups to find people. Most importantly, the subreddit allowed people of all ages to participate. But then, this rule changed.
You may notice that the final rule explains how users must be 18 plus to participate in the subreddit. This rule was just added 12 days ago and explains how minors aren't allowed to post their ads here.
In October of 2022, the admins of the subreddit posted an update announcing that the rules were changed. In the post, they claimed the reason was so they could clean up this community. But from what? A YouTuber named Gubby looked through this subreddit and found some posts I can only describe as weird.
Good morning. I was wondering if someone could brighten up my day today. I'm kind of stressed and exhausted, and I want to have a good cuddle, and maybe we can go deeper. You know what I mean.
And if you think that's bizarre, check this one out.
Just hanging out at home. Hubs is working and the kids are gone, so pretty quiet here. Please only 21 plus, and bonus if you could send a pic.
It's so sad that these lonely people will go to these lengths. And even though they didn't make it clear why it turned into an adult-only subreddit, I think these posts speak for themselves. The forbidden community. With all the young people on Kik, it's not surprising that the worst types of people will come to take advantage of them. These monsters trade pictures of young people directly on Kik. A former CP trader, codenamed Doc, came forward to tell a story about the picture trading community on Kik. He started off trading inappropriate pictures of adults, but eventually got pushed into trading pictures of people younger. At first, some of the stuff I saw made me horrified. Like, who would even keep this around? And why would people send me this when I didn't even ask for it? But over time, the shock wore off, and Doc began to trade these in Kik groups. And this is what happens often. People usually make a gradual shift until they've lost all their morals. Another story involves a Kik user very similar to Doc, but worse. In October of 2016, this user named Bossier Cops Suck would start a discussion with another user. Little did Bossier know that the user he was talking to was an undercover FBI agent. Bossier told the agent that he had photos of his infant daughter. After talking back and forth, he sent these pictures to the agent. He was arrested and is now serving 25 years. This story ends well. The criminal was caught before more damage was done. But in this next topic, the events that happened on Kik left a Virginia family with irreversible damage. I just wanted to make friends. This is Nicole L. Nicole downloaded Kik and began to chat with people on the platform. She planned on meeting new friends, but instead of meeting a friend, she found a person that would turn her world upside down. You see, Nicole was born with a damaged liver and needed a transplant before her first birthday. Now as a teenager, she still needed her anti-rejection medication every day to survive. Her illness and surgical treatment left Nicole with scars, and according to her mother, Nicole had emotional scars as well. Because of her condition, she was bullied in school, so she turned to Kik to make friends. One of her classmates said that Nicole, who was only 13, was even dating someone online. And Nicole wanted to keep meeting new people. So on January 27th, 2016, Nicole snuck out of her house at night, only bringing her phone and her favorite blanket. In the morning, her parents realized she was missing, and their panic set in. Her parents alerted the police and the search began. Law enforcement found out that Nicole was using Kik. They sent out a request to Kik to access her account and found out she was talking with a Kik user named Dr. Tombstone. She left the house to meet him, and his real name was David.
The investigation led us to 18-year-old David E. Eisenhower, a Virginia Tech student.
David didn't want anyone to find out that he was in a relationship with Nicole, so David contacted a friend named Natalie who helped them out. They both spent weeks planning on how they were going to end Nicole's life. David and Natalie were finally arrested, but when they were asked where Nicole was, neither of them could talk. But it didn't matter because soon after, the police located Nicole 90 miles away from where she lived, and her life was ended by this Kik user, David. Natalie said that she was excited to be part of something secretive and special, but David is now serving 50 years and Natalie 40. Although justice was served, Nicole's family will never be the same again. Kik seems to be giving a platform for these horrible people to thrive, and because of their small moderation team, they can't catch everything. The internet is the most powerful tool we have for creating a more open and connected world. But please, be mindful of the people who you trust online. As helpful as the internet can be, it's also just as dangerous. The cases we've talked about aren't meant to scare you, but to give you the knowledge to spot these sick people and avoid them. Share this video with your friends and family so we can spread awareness about the dangers of the internet and help keep our loved ones safe, one video at a time. Visual Venture. Wait, before you go, click this playlist right here to watch more dark internet documentaries, because our new goal is 500,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. If you're a talented scriptwriter or video editor and want to join my team, click the link in the description to apply. I love you guys. Peace.
Oh my God! Not only was he scamming his audience, he was using the money that he stole to fuel his endeavors he's become so infamous for.
Isn't that just amazing, sweetheart? Now you know the proper way to clean up blood. If I can't have you, no one can.
Yandere Dev has apparently been caught interacting in a very charged manner.
We all want to be loved. We want someone to cherish and care for us. A normal relationship usually plays out like this. You have a crush on someone, so you ask them out. But in certain cases, it can take an unexpected turn. And these innocent crushes can sometimes spiral into deadly obsessions. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have an amazing week ahead. Love turned lethal. Some people will do almost anything for the ones they love, and yanderes are the perfect examples of that. They'll go to the ends of the earth for their crush, no matter who gets hurt. Yandere Simulator is a video game that introduced a lot of people to what yanderes actually are, and scarily enough, they've turned the concept into something admirable. So what is a yandere? In short, it's someone who is madly obsessed with their crush. A yandere is a Japanese archetype that's given to an individual, often a female character, who's so deeply infatuated with their love interest that they do unspeakable things to maintain that relationship. When I say unspeakable, I mean things that will definitely land you in prison. A better word to describe the love that these people feel is obsession. They spend almost every waking moment thinking about their partner and will do anything in their power to get closer to them, be with them, or protect them. While this doesn't seem like the sort of relationship most people would want, there's one game that changed that perception. Introducing Yandere Simulator, the game of dark obsessions. Yandere Simulator is a cult classic in the world of indie games. In early 2014, a post was made on the forum website 4chan talking about the possibility of a game based around a yandere main character. There were a ton of positive reactions, and the poster saw this as a green light to start making the game. That's when Yandere Simulator was born. On April 4, 2014, the original prototype video for Yandere Simulator was released on YouTube. The video was was posted to the account Yandere Dev, and was the first of many Yandere Simulator videos on this channel. The concept of the game was simple. Eliminate all threats to your relationship with your crush. The main character, Ayano, is a yandere who has developed an unhealthy obsession with a boy in her school that she calls senpai. But she's not the only girl who's got her eyes on him. There are a ton of other girls who also have a crush on senpai, and Ayano does not like that at all. The game is all about stealth and strategy. Playing as Ayano, you need to keep tabs on your crush and the girls that talk to him, who are called rivals. You do that by looking through their bag, talking to other students, or stalking them around campus. Throughout the game, your goal is to eliminate any of the girls that would jeopardize your future relationship with senpai. And we're not using the word eliminate lightly. Players can explore the school grounds to find props and items that they can use in their master plan of removing the competition. They can also go to class and join clubs to develop skills or gain access to items that can help them with their plans. But you have to be careful, because if word gets out that you're the person behind all of the chaos at school, the police will find out. Or even worse, senpai will. Because to a yandere, their biggest nightmare is when your crush realizes your true dark side.
Why do you have a weapon? What are you gonna do with that thing? Stay back!
No, wait. Senpai noticed me at the worst time.
That's why in Yandere Simulator, you must be strategic and sneaky when you're getting rid of the other girls. Keeping all your actions secret and away from teachers, students, and most importantly, your senpai is the #1 goal in the game. It's been almost 10 years since Yandere Simulator first started development, yet the game is nowhere close to being done. The game is still in its demo stages, with most of the major updates being teased on the Yandere Dev YouTube channel. But even though it's taken this long, there are still countless fans out there eagerly waiting for an official release date. But how hasn't the hype died down after so many years? Well, that's all due to the developer of the game. With his consistent uploads to the Yandere Dev channel and his interactive Discord and Reddit forums, he's been able to keep the community buzzing about the game. But there are many that believe his involvement with Yandere Simulator is a big mistake. The reasons behind this are pretty creepy. The controversial rise of Yandere Dev. In this twisted love story of Yandere Simulator, the stakes are high as players navigate the line between love and insane obsession. This game shows us just how easily things can spiral when we lose control. As a content creator, it's the same way. Anything can happen. In one instance, I'm going about my day creating these videos for you guys, and the next, I'm hacked and my personal information is leaked online for everyone to see. Which, by the way, has happened to me. And this video sponsor, Optery, helps you with just that. Optery is a data removal service that's designed to protect your personal online information. So ever since I got hacked, I thought that I did a pretty good job staying private online. But when I started my free exposure risk scan with Optery, I found my phone number, email, and home address on 34 different data broker sites that I've never even heard of before. Data brokers buy and sell information about you from your social media activity, driver's license, and even in-person places you visit. Optery removes your private info from hundreds of data broker sites. This makes it harder for criminals, spammers, and big tech to access and abuse your personal data. So it's completely free to do your own scan, and it's easy to sign up by using my link. If Optery finds any of your data online, you can choose to upgrade to Optery's paid plans starting at $3.99 a month to get your data removed. Click my link in the description below and use my promo code VISUAL for 20% off any plan. Take it from me, keeping your data safe is priceless. So who's the creator of such a twisted and violent game? Alex, better known as Yandere Dev, is the game's developer and pretty much the face of the game, or the voice to be specific. On his YouTube channel, Yandere Dev, he would post consistent videos about the game's newest features and updates, as well as more entertaining content like character lore videos or even Christmas songs. Alex's constant uploads were a big driver for the game's success, since it kept the fanbase hooked on Yandere Simulator. The channel was meant to show the development of the game, but it didn't take long for Alex's personality to slip through the cracks, and soon fans started to dislike Yandere Dev as a person. When Yandere Simulator first became popular in early 2015, Alex jumped on the opportunity to open up a Patreon, which is a website that lets fans support a creator or their projects through donations. As an indie game developer, this sort of crowdfunding is pretty common. So when he first opened the account, no one thought anything of it. But as the development went on, fans started started to suspect that Alex was possibly using the money for something other than the game, because the updates that were coming out just didn't seem to be good anymore.
Alex was found spending money from his Patreon funds to buy a second Nintendo Switch so he could make a new Animal Crossing world.
Not to mention, he was no longer the only person working on the game. He built a team of volunteers to help him, but none of that Patreon money was going to them either. So, where was it all going? Especially since the game still hasn't made any real progress. Now, one of the biggest warning signs of Yandere Dev's questionable behavior was how he treated his volunteers. As the only developer, Alex didn't have a reliable team to help him finish the game, so he decided to look for some help. Aspiring developers and fans of the game were able to sign up to be a volunteer to work under Yandere Dev and directly on the Yandere Simulator game. As the name of the role suggests, this was an unpaid position on Yandere Dev's team. Tasks ranged from social media management to illustrations to actual game development. But even though he was getting a ton of free labor, it seemed like Yandere Dev complained about his volunteers more than appreciating them. To make matters worse, he would allegedly also take the credit for what they were doing. So they weren't getting paid and they also weren't getting credit. And this still wasn't good enough for him. This put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, but this was just the tip of the iceberg. Because in 2018, one of Yandere Dev's volunteers would come forward and expose everything that happened behind the scenes, painting Alex in an even worse light. Micah Sozo, or @SozoMicah on Twitter, went on Facebook and posted a complaint about Yandere Dev stealing her artwork to use in one of his videos. In the comments of that post, she gave more context. She said that Yandere Dev had a policy that he wouldn't use any work created by volunteers after they leave the team. He had also said that their work was just a placeholder in the game and would be taken out as the development continued. However, this wasn't the case. 2 years later, in 2020, Micah tweeted about this again. She went into detail about how Yandere Dev would make his unpaid volunteers do an unbelievable amount of work, more than what should have been given to someone not making any money. She also said that at the time she was a teenager balancing multiple part-time jobs and getting no recognition or even gratefulness for the work that she was doing for him. Micah also said that she was asked to do a bunch of different things, like modifying the in-game models, designing posters, and making illustrations. She did all this under the impression that she would be getting credit for her work, especially since she wasn't getting paid. But she didn't. And when she requested it, the response that Yandere Dev gave her was brutal. Instead of hearing out her concerns, Yandere Dev retaliated and said that she was overreacting. And he ended the paragraph with this: "Why did you have to waste such a tremendous amount of my time? Why? He also said that she was burning bridges by demanding credit for her work, and gave her a 5-step plan on how to properly work together with others in a project. And this is just one of the many volunteer horror stories. On Reddit and Discord, there are dozens of instances from former Yandere Dev volunteers talking about their negative experiences working on the game.
The artist then sent his work the same night to Alex and was met with an unprofessional and incredibly rude response, with Alex telling him that his art looks awful and something he'd never want to have put anywhere near his game.
If you go on the Yandere Dev volunteer page, one of the rules is that you must be 18 to sign up, as well as have relevant skills and work experience. But it was said that those requirements were not real, and that anyone of any age could become a volunteer. These young volunteers, like Micah, were still naive. They just wanted to work on the game that they loved, not realizing that they were practically being used for free labor. But even with all this, there were still plenty of people who continued to sign up because Yandere Simulator will always have dedicated fans willing to go the extra mile to see the game completed. So why is the game still taking forever to be released? Yandere Dev has always been criticized for pushing back the game's official release, and with Alex having a team of volunteers now backing him, it seemed like there was no excuse. Because even though Yandere Dev was consistently uploading on his channel, the quality of the updates were getting worse. Most of the time, it seemed like the updates were tiny. Either they were Easter eggs or visual changes, both of which didn't really progress the game's storyline. And in reality, most of the assets in the game couldn't actually be used in an official release because most of the game's characters, props, and environments were bought from online marketplaces, or allegedly completely stolen.
Yandere Dev has promised that the models and assets that are currently in the game will be replaced down the line with more polished models from the ground up. The very model for the main character of the game is taken straight out of the Unity asset store, and quite a lot of the assets around the school were taken from various places from the internet.
These assets are not allowed to be monetized without permission, and definitely not allowed to be part of any official game release. So this could be the reason why the game has been delayed for so long, because getting all these assets changed can be expensive, and if the claims of the Patreon money going elsewhere is true, then maybe that's why the development has been so slow. And on top of all that, people also started to notice that some of these minor updates were actually creepy. You see, Yandere Dev has had a pretty rocky history on the internet. With Yandere Simulator having become such a popular game, it's no surprise that a couple of curious fans did a little digging into the developer's past, and some of the stuff they found was unsettling. In 2008, Alex made posts on the Gaia online forum using the username Not Depressed Anymore. In these posts, Alex would vent about how girls have told him that he looks creepy. He also mentioned that no girl has ever shown interest in him, and that he was a nice and friendly guy. If you're looking at the post alone, he just seems like a self-conscious guy who's a bit nervous about his own looks. But once you actually take a deeper dive into the posts under that username, you'll realize that it's more than that. A common theme that you'd find in his forum posts were his troubles with women, or his infatuation with them. He would often describe them in inappropriate ways, describing their body in detail, or complain about how girls didn't want to be romantic with him, and say that he's depressed because other men were able to be intimate with the girls that he liked. And it seems like his yandere fantasies had started way before Yandere Simulator was even a thing, because one particular forum post was pretty revealing about his taste in women.
Notably, he also posts about his desire to be in a codependent relationship, where his girlfriend is obsessed with him and heavily relies on him. If only someone could make a game about that concept.
In that specific post, he said that he wanted to be a vital, central part of a girl's life, which explains how he would eventually go on to create Yandere Simulator, a game with a main character whose sole purpose in life is to be completely obsessed with her male love interest. He was also known to engage in vile and disgusting behavior, as shown through his other forum posts and Twitter accounts. His hobbies include playing disturbing games and reading sick fanfiction, all of which makes playing Yandere Simulator look like a family-friendly activity. This is already a red flag, but people can change, right? It might seem unreasonable to judge someone solely based on old internet posts, but until now, his problematic behavior hasn't gone away. In fact, it's seeped into Yandere Simulator, a game that's not only dark, but also has some questionable features that seem to fuel Yandere Dev's fantasies. Yandere Simulator's problematic themes. In a game like this, there are obviously some dark themes, but violence aside, there's other things happening in the game that's left fans a little uneasy. Back in 2016, Yandere Dev addressed a highly controversial possible update to his game that fans were not happy about. Alex had posted a poll asking fans whether or not he should implement a new inventory system to the game. But instead of regular backpacks or pockets like most games had, this inventory would be in the main character Ayano's skirt, and when players use the inventory, that would expose her undergarments. Unsurprisingly, most of the fan base was against this idea. 78% of the poll results wanted the undergarments to either be censored or not have a system like this at all. This skirt concept was the last straw for a lot of Yandere Simulator fans who felt like they couldn't defend Alex's behavior any longer. Especially because, all things considered, it seemed like Yandere Simulator took place in a high school, which would mean that Ayano, the main character, was young. In response to the backlash, Yandere Dev went on to say that the skirt concept was to make sure the game was not bland. He felt like any other inventory system would be too safe for his so-called weird game, and this sort of risky inventory system was exactly what was needed to keep the game from getting boring. In a game all about frantically stalking your crush and eliminating your rivals in brutal ways, it seems pretty far from boring. And fans were baffled by his choice to add this feature when so many other intriguing options were available. But this wasn't the only situation that left fans uneasy about the game. In Yandere Simulator, undergarments have become a recurring gameplay element. In the game, players can gain certain bonuses if they put on certain undergarments. Players are able to purchase new ones for Ayano to wear and switch them out depending on her needs, since each pair comes with a special buff. And if that's not weird enough, players can also take inappropriate photos of other characters and send them to Info-chan, who's a student that will grant you a favor in exchange for your photos. This feature would be concerning in any game, but given Yandere Simulator's context and characters, it's even more disturbing. And speaking of characters, we can't forget these disturbing rivals that have been included in the game. One of the most problematic aspects in the game is the rivals, which are all the other characters that the player has to eliminate to get to Senpai. One of these rivals is called Maeda Rana, and she is a substitute teacher with a really creepy hobby, tempting schoolboys. In her character description, Maeda is said to enjoy having dozens of eyes all directed towards her. The character is described as constantly hunting out her prey with whoever she desires, having no hope of escape. And considering that she's a school teacher, that makes her obsession with boys highly problematic. That's not the only character that's like this. There's also another rival character by the name of Muja Kina, who is another adult working at the school as a nurse. She fell in love with Senpai after he came into the medical ward while vulnerable and sick. And once again, she is a bit too old. And arguably the worst rival of all is Hanako Yamada, Senpai's younger sister. She loves her big brother more than anything in the world and is very possessive of him. She's also so obsessed with her brother to the point where she's transferred schools just so she could be with him all day long. Hanako is deathly afraid of her brother getting a girlfriend, making it her own personal mission to stop him from getting one at all costs. These three characters clearly highlight the creepy behavior being promoted in the game. That, combined with the obsessive shows of love, violence, and deception, makes this game a gray area for a lot of people, especially since a majority of the player base seemed to be on the younger side. And it wasn't just viewers that were concerned with the nature of the game. In 2016, the streaming giant Twitch banned Yandere Simulator from being broadcasted on their platform. Although Twitch never gave a formal reason as to why the game was banned, they did send Yandere Dev an email. In the email, they claimed that they could not reveal the reason behind the game's ban without also exposing why certain users were banned off the platform as well, which would go against the privacy policy. But it might be safe to assume that the game's dark themes and its glorification of the yandere archetype are the main reasons why. Because not only are Yandere Simulator fans obsessed with Ayano's quest for love, but they're also obsessed with the game, and they're not afraid to show it. The toxic community. Throughout the years, Yandere Simulator has built up a devoted community of fans that have stuck with the game through thick and thin. In late 2014 to early 2015, Yandere Simulator blew up on YouTube after popular content creators like Markiplier, PewDiePie, and Jacksepticeye started playing the game. They would post gameplay videos onto their channels that got millions of views, bringing Yandere Simulator to a much wider audience. But the bigger the community grew, the weirder it got. For starters, there were die-hard fans that loudly proclaimed their love for the game. As Yandere Simulator became mainstream in gaming, more and more YouTubers started posting content of the game. It didn't take long for their channels to grow, and at first it seemed like these YouTubers had struck a content goldmine. But then things took a turn. One of these content creators was Bijou Mike, also known as Michael. Michael posted a ton of videos about the game and was a go-to for many Yandere Simulator fans, but it soon felt like a lot of his viewers were only there for that particular game and nothing else.
And I'm not gonna lie, but sometimes I feel like I'm at the mercy of Yandere Simulator. Like, if I stopped playing Yandere Simulator right now, would my channel just die?
Yandere Simulator players are hardcore to say the least. They even inflicted damage upon their own community. We've already established the dark nature of the game. You stalk, you manipulate, you eliminate. These actions in Yandere Simulator are frowned upon in the real world, but not everyone believes that. To some of these fans, the Yandere Ayano is not a love-crazed, dangerous person. She's someone that they aspire to be, or someone they look for in a romantic partner. There are so many young, impressionable Yandere Simulator fans that have taken what they've seen from the game and used it as their standard for love. And as we'll see in our next chapter, their obsession with yanderes will have real-world consequences. The disturbing story of Yuka Takaoka. The romanticization of the yandere lifestyle is not only concerning, but dangerous. There have always been yanderes in anime, movies, and games, but they also exist outside of a screen. In Japan, where the term yandere originated, there have been several cases of people taking their love too far and committing crimes that they can never take back. The most famous case is Yuka Takaoka, a real-life yandere who ruined her and her boyfriend's life out of love. In Yandere Simulator, when Ayano gets found out by her crush, she snaps. And when she does, she doesn't only eliminate her enemies, she also eliminates her senpai. Yuka Takaoka did the same thing, but in real life. And scarily enough, people in Japan adore her and obsess over her because she's beautiful, rather than seeing the heinous crime for what it truly is. In fact, they've romanticized her so much that she has her own fan base. The yandere has an entire community as obsessed with her as she was with her boyfriend. And that's just the reality of what happens when you glorify dangerous archetypes like the yandere. The internet was vowed by Yuka Takaoka's good looks and dubbed her as a yandere. Users on social became obsessed with Yuka and her crime and began to create paintings and drawings of her. Several reporters have written articles describing the strange fascination that people have with attractive criminals that is almost akin to worship. And when it comes to Yandere Simulator, it gamifies that sort of behavior. In January of 2019, a 10-year-old girl who was a huge fan of Yandere Simulator tried to roleplay as Ayano by bringing something she shouldn't have to her school in Southampton, Hampshire. Although there's a warning message at the start of the game that tells people not to copy what they see, there's always someone that doesn't listen. Game developer Yandere Dev said that it was alarming to hear about the incident in Southampton and added that there was a warning message in the game asking people not to copy it. Yandere Simulator's reputation is declining fast, but the worst part out of all this is that there are allegations against Yandere Dev that could result in serious trouble. Yandere Dev is in hot water. Recently, the Yandere Simulator community has fallen to its last limb after several allegations have come up about Yandere Dev's inappropriate behavior with members of the fanbase. Voice recordings were taken by a girl in the community exposing Yandere Dev for wanting a cupcake of his own. If you know, you know. There's also several Snapchat conversation screenshots and Discord conversations to back up these allegations. His first initial response was that the girl was one of the guys, and that his inappropriate comments were just jokes. But after seeing how much intense backlash he was getting, he made another response. Yandere Dev wrote a blog post calling the situation an act of horribly self-destructive behavior, and calling it a result of poor mental health and consistently making incredibly unwise lifestyle choices. Since these allegations have surfaced, his Patreon donations have dropped drastically. Many content creators, staff members, and fans of the community have jumped ship entirely, leaving the game without a community. While it's unclear if Yandere Dev will continue working on Yandere Simulator, one thing's for sure: the fanbase is dying, and Yandere Simulator might just remain a game of the past. My friends, make sure you're able to properly separate fantasy from reality. If you find that your entire life revolves around video games, you gotta go outside and touch grass, because there's so much more to life than what's on your computer screen. Visual Venture. Wait, before you go, click this playlist to watch more dark internet documentaries, because the algorithm will promote my channel more if you guys watch multiple videos. Please have an absolutely wonderful week. Peace. Minecraft. It's a game literally everyone knows. Even senior citizens that barely know how to use technology probably know how to create a crafting table. This game is a staple in internet culture, but despite all the creativity, laughter, and joy this game has brought to gamers, its community has a dark side. And I brought a special guest, Hellcastle and Tyler, to share their first-hand experience about the dangers of Minecraft. So grab your pickaxe and raise your brightness setting. It's time to dive into the horrors of the Minecraft community. The downfall of Notch. Let's start from the beginning. The very first member of the Minecraft community is its creator, Marcus Persson, aka Notch. In May 2009, Notch released an early version of Minecraft through Mojang Studios, which is a Swedish video game developer based in Sweden. This version of the game had no crafting, no creepers, just a sandbox with a small selection of blocks to build with. Even though the original Minecraft did not have a lot of content, the game got a lot of positive feedback from gamers. After adding more content to the game, Minecraft skyrocketed in sales and went viral on YouTube. In fact, 2.5 years later, in November 2011, Minecraft has sold 4 million copies worldwide. Things were going amazing for Notch, but with every rise, there's a fall. Over the next few years, Notch started to get tired of building Minecraft. He wanted to move on to other projects.
I didn't want to work on the project anymore because I wanted to just write prototypes or new games and stuff that
the stuff I actually get happy from doing.
One day, Notch decided that he was already sick of working on Minecraft, so he tweeted out, "Anyone want to buy my share of Mojang so I can move on with my life?" A few days later, Microsoft reached out to him with a $2.5 billion offer to buy Mojang Studios, and Notch accepted the offer. Microsoft is, to this day, still the owners of Minecraft. So what happened to Notch? Well, sadly, he only got worse. Notch seemed to be active on Twitter a lot, but not just to tweet about Minecraft milestones, but he pushed the limits and tweeted some extremely provocative tweets. These tweets were the start of Notch's downfall, and Microsoft removed all references to Notch from Minecraft entirely. Essentially, Microsoft deleted Notch's past with Minecraft. It's sad to see someone who was so respected become so hated, but when you dig a little deeper, something could have influenced Notch's twisted views. What if I told you that Notch could be an incel? Back in August 13th, 2011, Notch married Ellen Ederstrand, a fellow programmer. She's also the sister of the artist Christopher Zetterstrand, who made many of the paintings seen in Minecraft. Ellen and Notch had a daughter together. Notch was truly in love, but it wouldn't last long. Not even 1 year later, in July 2012, Notch and Ellen filed for divorce. Notch tweeted, "Found a great girl, but she's afraid of me and my lifestyle, and she went with a normal person instead." Incels use negative experiences to grow their sad beliefs. This is Notch's only known marriage to date, and it ended with his wife leaving him for someone else. In another tweet, Notch's struggle was clear. He wrote, "Hanging out in Ibiza with a bunch of friends and partying with famous people, able to do whatever I want, and I've never felt more isolated." Notch is rich beyond our wildest dreams. He bought a mansion for $70 million and has house parties with famous people every month. But despite all the parties and fame, Notch has said he's lonelier than ever before. This explains why Notch uses Twitter to express his feelings. He has all the money in the world. The truth is, he couldn't buy happiness. Minecraft is now a distant memory to Notch. Microsoft is in charge now, and it's time to take a look at the recent mistake that left the Minecraft community furious. Censorship took over Minecraft. In the summer of 2022, an update to Minecraft version 1.19.1 was released by Mojang Studios with a new system to keep players on Minecraft safe. This version introduced a new feature to multiplayer servers in Minecraft. This feature would allow players to report harmful messages. It also automatically censored curse words and hate speech. This sounds like a good thing, right? Well, the problem is that this new system can be easily abused by anyone. Accounts can be mass reported and banned with no reasoning. In fact, if you do get banned, Microsoft hides the reason why you were initially banned. And when your account is unbanned, Microsoft still won't tell you why you were banned.
After reviewing your account, we have decided to reverse the permanent ban that has been placed on it. While we cannot share specific details about your initial ban, please remember to adhere to our community guidelines.
And let's not forget how devastating these bans are.
On certain versions of Minecraft, upon being banned from the game, not only can you no longer access realms or any multiplayer server ever again, but you are no longer able to even play your own single-player worlds.
Single-player bans only happen on the Xbox and Nintendo Switch versions of Minecraft, but regardless, it's still unreasonable. The game is completely unplayable if you're banned. Microsoft doesn't even seem to cancel any paid subscriptions you have to their server hosting service, so they just keep taking your money even though you can't play, and this Minecraft update just gets worse. Even if you have a private server, you are still heavily censored by Microsoft. In other words, Mojang still censors your speech with your friends in the privacy of your own server. Even text written in single-player mode is censored, where no one can see the text except you. The reaction to Microsoft's censorship has been crazy. People are calling the situation Update 1984. 1984 is a book written by George Orwell about a horrifying future where everything you say and do is being monitored and controlled by a figure known as Big Brother. Let's think of it another way. Imagine you're walking around your house and stub your toe. You yell curse words in pain, and instead you hear... You've been censored in the comfort of your own home. And yeah, this might be an extreme example, but when you think about it, that's what Microsoft is doing. They're monitoring what you're saying even when you're by yourself. This situation is not a good sign of Minecraft's future, but the community is still fighting for change. Let's take a closer look at the people who play this game. While the majority of players are great people, there are some that take their obsession of the Minecraft community way too far, and these people will do anything for their idols, the toxic stans. Before we talk about the toxic stans of Minecraft, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a car accident? In 2020, there were over 5 million car accidents in the US, and 43% of those resulted in injuries. And many car accident victims struggle to get the help they need because their insurance insurance company comes up with excuses, downplays their injuries, and the same company you relied on leaves you with huge expenses to pay. Morgan & Morgan can help get the compensation you need. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 800 attorneys and have recovered over $15 billion for their clients. The process is insanely easy. In 8 clicks or less, you can submit a claim to Morgan & Morgan right from your phone. You also pay nothing up front for their services. The fee is actually free unless they win. To get started for free, get your phone out and dial #law or visit www.forthepeople.com/visualventure. My link is in the description below. Thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. Minecraft and YouTube go hand in hand. Minecraft content on YouTube has helped grow the popularity of Minecraft, and this also helped get more viewers on YouTube. One of the first kinds of Minecraft content that's still around today is a survival series known as SMP. It stands for Survival Multiplayer, which is when players record themselves playing survival mode on Minecraft with their friends. The first ever SMP video on YouTube was created 13 years ago. Some of you guys were babies back then. That's why if you're too young to remember that SMP video from 13 years ago, you'll at least recognize the most popular Minecraft creator today, Dream. With over 30 million subscribers and 3.4 billion views across his channels, Dream is arguably the biggest Minecraft creator in YouTube history. Love or hate him, the guy is an internet phenomenon with an army of followers. But fame always comes with issues. Dream's online community has fallen victim to something known as the vocal minority, which means that the most toxic people of Dream's community are the most well-known because they create the most trouble. But to be fair, they're a minority because Dream's followers have done incredible things. They've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charities. Twitch streamer Jay Schlatt banned as many Dream stands as he could from his Twitch stream, and there's a reason for that. So what have they done? Well, you'd be surprised just how far these stands can take it. Meet TommyInnit, one of the biggest Minecraft creators of this generation. Dream and TommyInnit share a lot of the same stands. These stands can be incredibly supportive and talented, but some use their talent to do horrible things. In 2021, a lot of drawings and fan fictions were created by these stands. These drawings showed TommyInnit and other Minecraft creators in disgusting situations.
I don't know, man. It's just so disgusting how someone can just take the time of their day to do that.
It's even more horrifying when you realize that at the time these drawings were made, Tommy was only 16 years old and the other creators were not adults either. This caused outrage on Twitter. The situation was so bad that TommyInnit had to make a statement.
But boys, any of this not safe for work, like related fanfic, whatever that is on the Wattpad or on Twitter, I am not comfortable with that, and I do not endorse it.
Sadly, the statement didn't help. It actually brought more attention to the issue, and one of his followers said this.
I rarely feel guilt. I'm not going to deactivate nor apologize for what I do and how I cope.
But these stands aren't the worst side of the Minecraft community. Some players even break the law for financial gain. What if I told you that Minecraft has a criminal underworld? Minecraft's criminal underworld. One of the most disappointing things about online gaming are the cheaters. It's something that we've all probably dealt with, and it's a major problem on Minecraft. Cheaters usually join the most popular multiplayer servers, but some of these cheaters don't just go against Minecraft's terms of service, but they also break the law. Cheaters use Minecraft ult shops. Ult shops are websites that sell accounts for online games. Cheaters will buy a ton of Minecraft accounts so that when they cheat on multiplayer servers, even if they get banned, they'll have another account to use to continue cheating. So how are sellers getting these accounts to sell? They're stealing them. And this happens way too often.
I've also had a friend once just one day wake up and find that his account is gone. And then later on he goes to one of the most famous alt shops and he saw that his account was up there for sale.
These criminal organizations hack their way into Minecraft accounts using illegal methods like brute force.
Attempt to crack the password, running through various combinations of numbers and letters until they eventually stumble upon the right combo.
Hackers can also take advantage of data breaches, which is when a website has their user information leaked. This allows criminals to gather private information such as emails and even passwords. If a user's password from one website is leaked, if it's the same password they use for their Minecraft account, hackers can access the account with ease and put it up for sale. It's a scary thought. Hellcastle has first-hand experience with these cyber criminals. Hellcastle plays the Minecraft game Hypixel Skyblock. On the game, criminals are everywhere. What they do is put a virus in a jar file and disguise disguise it as a Skyblock mod.
The main reason this works is because jar files work like an exe file. Once you launch Minecraft, those files get executed, which means any malicious code in those files run on your computer.
But these viruses, also called rats, end up stealing more than just your Minecraft account.
The most popular rats we've seen end up stealing all of the victims' passwords saved inside their browser. Some of them even search for connected cameras on your computer, and they take pictures of you that they can use later on to blackmail you.
What makes things worse is that there are many kids who play this game.
They play on their dad's computer or their mom's computer, which usually has all the important information. So when they do install the rat and run it, the hacker ends up getting their parents' login info to their banks.
You might be thinking, who would fall for downloading these types of files? Well, the thing is, Skyblock is a game where modifications are basically essential to play the game. It enhances your experience. So if one of your friends tells you to download an awesome mod, why wouldn't you? Minecraft's criminal underworld is massive.
It's pretty big too, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like nearly $1 million business now.
And Hellcastle is only talking about one specific community. But not all of these criminal users commit obvious crimes like hacking. Some hide in the shadows and wait to take advantage of the vulnerable people on Minecraft. Servers are stealing your money. Minecraft has a huge multiplayer empire. With thousands of daily active users, it's no surprise that scammers would want to exploit it. Some of these popular servers try to take advantage of the most vulnerable demographic of the Minecraft community, young kids. These server owners try to squeeze money out of these kids using pay-to-win systems. A pay-to-win system is a practice where players can purchase items in-game to get an unfair advantage over other players. These servers will get young people to buy ranks for their games at insane prices, and these ranks help players get specific advantages in the server.
So they would sell you a rank for like $250 or $500. That just makes you a god above everyone else. There's nothing more unfair than being way behind someone just because their parents are rich and they just buy them everything. It sucks. It really sucks.
These pay-to-win servers are such a problem that YouTuber The Horizon dedicated himself to crashing these servers.
He is basically a pay-to-win anarchist.
One of the worst examples of the pay-to-win scam is the server Wild Prison. In May 2022, a YouTuber by the name of Salcy1 created a video exposing the Wild Prison server's scummy operations.
It says it was $499.98, but it's on sale for $249.99.
These guys are charging $250 to buy a rank to win the game. Just look at what it gives you.
What? That is million?
No, that's septillion.
That's septillion?
Yeah.
25 septillion?
With this rank, you will receive an almost infinite supply of in-game money that would give you an unfair advantage over other players. And once again, the problem lies in the demographic of people who play these games.
I can easily say that nearly all of the people who play on this are just kids.
But that's not all. The server also encourages gambling. Loot crates are an infamous mechanic in certain games. Players would buy these loot crates with real-life money to receive bonuses like rare cosmetics. It's controversial because people argue it's a form of gambling. Apparently, the drop rates on Wild Prison are lower than people think.
They just lie in the chances. We opened like 1,000 keys and we did not get one of the drops this time.
This problem becomes worse when you realize the people playing on the Wild Prison server are too young to gamble. Wild Prison server owners encourage children to gamble money just for some items in Minecraft. But the YouTuber Salcy1 found a loophole within the server that allowed them to break the restrictions on Wild Prison and give themselves a ton of expensive in-game items for free. Then they took these items and gave them out to as many players on the server as they could.
What? That's the one?
Oh my lord. That's the $7,000. Wait, scroll up again. Oh, that's $7,000.
Salcy1 was Minecraft's Robin Hood, and even though he and his friends were banned, it sent a clear message to the Wild Prison scammers. But sometimes evil isn't so obvious. Terrible people can blend into the crowd acting innocent while quietly hurting others in the shadows. And worst of them all is a person called Sky Does Minecraft. The downfall of Sky Does Minecraft. In 2011, Adam Dahlberg, aka Sky Does Minecraft, found quick success on YouTube. Adam started a new style of videos that showcased Minecraft modifications. Adam also formed a group with the most well-known Minecrafters at the time and earned billions of views. But now, Adam's popularity plummeted. He hasn't uploaded on his YouTube channel for an entire year and lost a ton of followers. So what went wrong? Well, behind the online personality that everyone loved was a long list of horrible behavior. Around 2015, Adam founded a media company called Sky Media. This company eventually shut down, but in January 2022, ex-Sky Media employees came forward with their shocking stories. Almost every person who shared their experience from Sky Media claimed that Adam was a manipulative and cruel boss.
Working at Sky Media was the darkest period of my life that I've ever and probably will ever have. Eventually, the constant gaslighting and mental torture led me to nearly myself.
The same person that said this claimed that he begged for time off to visit his mother while she was in the hospital, and Adam threatened to fire him if he didn't continue editing. If that wasn't enough, Adam also allegedly protected a criminal. Adam had an associate by the name of Jinbop, who was also a Minecraft creator that worked in Sky Media. In 2016, Jinbop was arrested and sentenced to 7 years in prison. For what? For not only viewing, but allegedly producing inappropriate content of young people. But long before he was arrested, the employees at Sky Media already knew what he did. At the Sky Media office, Jinbop was found on Skype calls with teenagers during working hours. When the employees at Sky Media went to inform management, they were told, mind your own business and edit. On top of Adam protecting Jinbop, he also has a history of abusing women. Adam's first public relationship was with a woman named Dawn. She appeared in a handful of Adam's early videos, and the two were supposedly engaged. They broke up in 2013, and after the relationship ended, Adam revealed personal information about Dawn that led to her receiving a lot of abuse from Adam's fan base.
You want to see if there's any merit to the claims with Dawn? If I was or anything? The house that I lived in, 15, go ahead and check my name on that, see if there's any arrest records. Do the information yourself, find it yourself. I have nothing to hide. Come on, I literally given people my address.
It got so bad that she deleted all of her social media and left the internet entirely, and she was just the first. Next was Alessa, Adam's ex-wife. Alessa allegedly dealt with abuse from Adam. Alessa claimed that in one instance, a fight became physical, and in self-defense, she hit Adam to escape the situation. But when the police came, Alessa didn't tell them that Adam hit her first because she wanted to protect Adam's career, and she spent 5 days in jail. Eventually, Adam and Alessa broke up, but the abuse doesn't end there. Finally, there's Elizabeth, another of Adam's ex-girlfriends. She posted a 4,000-word document in January 2022 that detailed the abuse from Adam during their relationship. Adam allegedly caused both physical and mental harm to Elizabeth throughout their relationship. Elizabeth claimed that she was pressured into having a child when she wasn't ready and married Adam against her will. When Elizabeth was pregnant, she also claimed that Adam was hitting her in the stomach. Adam was also unfaithful and sent inappropriate pictures to other girls. Elizabeth thankfully gave birth to her daughter and escaped the relationship. But sometimes you just don't know what someone is capable of.
YouTubers like Sky Does Minecraft are kind of the YouTubers I grew up with, and are kind of the reason I always wanted to make content on Minecraft or on YouTube in general.
You know, every platform has a dark side.
I think every community online has issues, especially if it's a game, because when you have so many people doing something, there's always going to be bad people within this insanely large audience.
But darkness cannot exist without light. There's so much beauty in a game like Minecraft. We can't forget the incredible creations that people make, and more importantly, the friendships built. But I want you guys to stay attentive.
Stay vigilant when you're online. Not just Minecraft, basically in everything.
The internet is a dangerous place, so share this video to spread awareness and help keep your friends safe, one user at a time. Visual Venture. Wait, before you go, click this playlist right here to watch more dark internet documentaries, because our new goal is 500,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Peace.